Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Bite-Sized Computer Basics webinar. My name is Gloria, and I will be your presenter for today. So today's webinar is about computer basics. Imagine a world without computers. It would be very slow and very inconvenient. We use computers for almost every part of our lives. But as great as computers are, they can be kind of intimidating. So in today's webinar, we'll discuss a lot about computers. So what a computer is, its different components. So we'll talk about the hardware and the software. We'll also talk about the internet, how it works, how we can use it, and how we can stay safe while using it, which is a very important thing to know. So this is what we're going to discuss today. But before we get into it, let's just talk a little bit about the technology we're using. We're using Zoom, and at the moment, all the lines are muted. So if you have any questions, please type them in the chat. If you need any technical support, type your message in the chat, and Mel will help you. Melanie's on standby. She's our wonderful producer, so she'll help you if you have any questions. If you find yourself outside the meeting or you leave the meeting inadvertently, just use the link that was sent to you in the email to come right back into the meeting. So you'll come back easily. If you join the meeting via phone, you can just redial the phone number and it will take you right back into the meeting. Don't feel that you need to take extensive notes for this webinar. It will be made available on our YouTube channel. So after the webinar, you'll get an email with the YouTube link. You'll also get in that email our handout, which will summarize everything we're going to discuss today and any answer to any questions that we might not be able to get into. So right at the end, we'll have our question and answer session, and you can just type your questions in the chat and we'll answer them during the last question and answer session. Awesome. So who are we? Who is Great Canadian Training? Well, we have over 20 years of experience in training. We offer software training and we also offer professional skills training. So some people call it soft skills. So we offer both software training and professional skills training. We also do public training and private classes training. All our training is live instructor led. Our sessions are either online or on site at the client's location. We also have a training center in Ottawa, but I love the fact that our sessions are live instructor led. So it makes for an interactive training session. You can ask questions, and it's just an active, collaborative environment, which really encourages learning. We also offer coaching and consulting services, and we do custom app development too. What sets us apart from everybody else? Well, we give you fast quality customer service. So right from the beginning, when you book for your training and up to after your training, once you get your training and after you get your training, we provide good quality customer service and support. We have highly skilled, experienced, and professional trainers. We have a public class schedule with guaranteed to run classes that run often. So our classes, our public classes are guaranteed to run, even if it's one person is signed up for the class, that class will definitely run. We have a learn or come back free policy on all public classes. And then we have a 24/7 after training support for all software and professional skills training. So that's what we do. And we want to give you the best kind of service for your training. A little bit about me. My name is Gloria. I'm a software instructor with Great Canadian. I love to teach and I love computers. So I love showing people how computers can improve their lives. And I enjoy being part of the Great Canadian Training team. So what will we discuss today? We'll focus on four main points. The first point is computer hardware. So we'll talk about what computer hardware is, the different components that make up computer hardware, and how we can choose the best hardware for our needs. The second thing we'll discuss, the second topic is computer software. We'll discuss what computer software is and how we can choose the best software. We'll also talk about the different kinds of software. Then we'll talk about the internet basics, how the internet works, how we can use the internet, and also how we can stay safe online. That's the last bit that we'll do. There's so many online dangers out there, so we'll discuss how we can be proactive and make sure that we stay safe when we're using the internet. But before we get into the content, let's do a poll. I'll ask you guys a question. The question is, what is a computer? So I have four possible answers. Please type your message in the chat, your response in the chat. A is a machine that can store, retrieve, and process data. B is a device that can connect to the internet and run various programs. C is a tool that can help you with learning, working, and entertainment. And D is all of the above. So I'll give you guys a moment to type your message in the chat. Okay, awesome. I see a lot of D. Yes, that's it. That's the correct answer. All of the above. So that's what a computer is. At its core, a computer is just a machine that processes information. And I want you guys to remember this, that a computer is a machine that processes information. We'll come back to this definition as we go along and talk about the different parts of this computer. So picture this. You are scrolling on Amazon and you need a computer, and you come across a computer with the following specification. It says it's a high performance business desktop computer, Intel Quad Core i5, 4590, up to 3.7 GHz, 16 gigabytes RAM, 1 terabyte HDD, and 256 gigabytes SSD. So you read this and you wonder, what do all these numbers and acronyms mean? Is this a good computer? And is it a good computer for me, for my needs? Will it give me what I'm looking for? So let's decipher all this jargon. Let's see what all these different um, letters and numbers mean. And we'll start by talking about computer hardware. So what is computer hardware? Hardware is the physical components of a computer, the physical components of a computer. So we're talking about everything you can see and touch on a computer. And an example could be the screen or your mouse or your keyboard. Really, everything that you can see and touch make up the hardware of a computer. So let's talk about three components of hardware that affect the performance of a computer. And we'll start by talking about something called the CPU. CPU. So CPU stands for Central Processing Unit, the Central Processing Unit. So remember, a computer is a machine that processes information, and the CPU is the Central Processing Unit. So this processing that happens in a computer happens in the CPU. The CPU is the brain of the computer. It's responsible for carrying out all the instructions that make the computer work. A simple analogy that can help us understand how a CPU works is imagine that a computer is a car and the CPU is the engine of the car. So the more powerful the engine is, the faster a car moves, right? And the more powerful or the faster the CPU processes information, the faster the computer will be and the more powerful it will be. Um, the speed of a CPU is measured in gigahertz. So that's GHz or GHz. A gigahertz is 1 billion cycles per second. So that's how the rating or the speed of a CPU is measured. The higher the gigahertz rating, the faster the CPU and the faster your computer will be. So the computer cannot function without a CPU. And that's the first thing we needed to discuss. The next thing, the next part of hardware is RAM. RAM stands for random access memory. And the random access memory is a type of memory that your computer uses to store data that it's currently using. A good way to explain what RAM is to compare it to a chalkboard. When you're working on a problem on a chalkboard, you can easily erase what you've written and start all over again. And this is similar to how RAM works. Your computer can easily access the data stored in RAM and then erase it when it's no longer needed. RAM is a much faster type of memory than the other types in your computer. So it affects the performance of your computer. The higher the RAM you have, the more RAM you have, the faster your computer will be able to run multiple programs at the same time. So your computer cannot work without RAM. And the more RAM you have, the better your computer will perform. So that's RAM, number two. So number three will be storage devices. So remember, a computer is a machine that processes information. And that information that is being processed needs to be stored somewhere before or after the processing. And these storage devices give space for this information or data to be stored. So there's so many different types of storage devices, but we'll discuss three. The first one is the hard drive or the HDD or the hard disk drive. This is a traditional type of storage device and it's found inside a computer and it can store a large amount of data. The second type is the SSD or the solid state drive. It's a newer type of storage device. It's faster than the traditional hard drives, but it's also more expensive. The third type is the flash drive. So a flash drive, very common. Almost everyone owns a flash drive, and it's a portable storage device that can be plugged into a computer's USB port. It's a convenient way to carry around data with you or transfer data from one machine to another. So storage devices are an important part of any computer system. They're very necessary to have. So what should you consider when choosing hardware? Well, we need to consider four things when choosing hardware. The first thing we need to talk about is the cost. How much money do you have to spend? Hardware can range in price from very affordable to very expensive. So it's important to set a budget before you start shopping so you don't overspend. The second is purpose. What will you use the hardware for? And this is the most important question to ask because if you know what you'll use the hardware for, then it will narrow down your choices so you can focus on the features that are most important to you. The third is performance needs. If you need your hardware to perform demanding tasks like gaming or video editing, then you'll need to choose a powerful hardware option. But if you need to do basic tasks like do the odd Zoom call or just surf the internet or store your photos from vacation, then you will need a less powerful option. And the last thing you need to think about when purchasing hardware is compatibility. If you're purchasing add-on hardware, it needs to be compatible with the hardware you already have. So if you wanted to increase RAM on your computer, it needs to be compatible with your computer. So that's something to think about when purchasing your RAM. Okay, so these four things are things to consider when choosing your hardware. Okay, so let's move on and talk about that computer we discussed initially. Remember, it said it had an Intel Quad Core i5 4590 up to 3.7 gigahertz. So now we know what that is. We know that's the processor speed. It's a quad Core i5, so that means it's got four cores. This processor has four cores. It means that it can run four programs at the same time. The processor also has a maximum clock speed of 3.7 gigahertz, which means it can run programs really quickly. Um, it says that it's got 16 gigabytes of RAM. So this computer has a lot of RAM, meaning it can run multiple programs at the same time without slowing down, which is really good. It also has really good storage, a combination of HDD storage and SSD storage. It's got 1 terabyte of HDD storage and 256 gigabytes of SSD storage. So you have plenty of storage for this computer. Overall, this computer is a great choice for someone who wants something that's powerful and versatile for demanding tasks. It's got a powerful processor, plenty of RAM, and a good combination of storage, having both HDD and SSD storage. Okay, so that's it on hardware. Let's talk about the next section, software. What is software? Software is the opposite of hardware. You can't see software, but all it is just a set of instructions that tell the computer what to do. A set of instructions that tell the computer what to do. So there's two main types of software. There is system software, and system software is the software that controls the computer's hardware. So it controls and communicates with the computer's hardware. That's the first thing it does. The second thing is it sets a foundation and allows other software to run. That's what system software is. And an example of system software is the operating system that runs on the computer. So you can have a computer with a Windows operating system or a computer with the Mac operating system. So that's system software. Once you have system software, then you need application software. So application software is the software that users interact with directly. So these are the apps that we install on our computer or our phone. And these apps do specific tasks. Like if you need word processing, then you would have the Microsoft Word or Google Docs application. If you needed a spreadsheet program, then you would have Microsoft Excel application. If you needed to do presentations, then you would have the Microsoft PowerPoint application. So these applications, they perform specific tasks and they allow the user to communicate with the computer. Um, and that's what application software does. So, how do you choose the right software? What things should you consider when choosing your software? There's four things to think about when choosing software. The first thing is compatibility. Remember, we talked about how your system software sets the foundation for other software to be installed. So you need to make sure that any software you choose or purchase is compatible with your system software or your operating system. So compatibility is a big thing. The second thing you need to think about is functionality. Does your software meet your needs? Some applications perform better than others. It's just how it is. So you need to make sure that your software actually does what you need it to do. The third thing to think about is security. Is your software safe and reliable? Some software, some apps contain viruses or malware that can harm or infect your computer. So you need to make sure that your software is safe and secure. And the last thing to think about is legality. Is your software licensed and authorized? Some applications may require you to pay a fee or register an account before you use them. So you need to make sure that the software you're using is legal. And that's it on software. Let's move on and talk about the internet. What is the internet? Well, the internet is a global network of computers. It allows us to communicate with each other, share information, and access a wide variety of resources. The internet is like a giant library, but instead of books, it's filled with information and data. It's got millions of websites, which are like pages in a book. So what the internet does is it works by sending information through cables and wires. So when you visit a website, your computer sends a request over these cables to a computer that stores the website. And then the computer that stores the website will allow your computer to access that website. So it's a big, giant network of computers that communicate. And how can we access the internet? Well, to access the internet, the first thing you need is an internet connection. And once you have an internet connection, you need a web browser. The web browser will allow you to view web pages. So if you know the address of the website you want to view, you can just type it straight into your web browser and it will take you to the website. However, if you don't know the address or you're not sure what website you want, you can use a search engine that will allow you to search the internet. So the search engine is like an index. It'll tell you where to find what it is you're looking for, give you a suggestion of all the websites that have the information you want, and you can choose one of those that appeal to you on that list. So, what do we use the internet for? I'm sure the list is a lot longer than this, but these are a couple of things that we use the internet for: communication, information, shopping, and entertainment. Those are four things that we use the internet for. And I'm sure you can think of a lot more. But while we use the internet for all these things and we enjoy ourselves on the internet, entertain ourselves while we shop, we exchange information and we communicate, we need to stay vigilant because there's so many online dangers that lurk on the internet. So we need to know how we can stay safe online. So what dangers could we come across? What are some possible online threats that we could fall prey to? The number of different online threats that we need to be aware of. And these are three of the most common. The first one is phishing. Phishing is a type of scam where someone tries to trick you into giving them your personal information. So they might send you an email that looks legitimate. It can look like it's coming from a legitimate company, like your bank or your credit card company, and the email will have a link, and it will ask you to click on the link, and when you click on the link, it will take you to a fake website that looks like the real website, and ask you to enter your personal information. Once you've entered your personal information, that hacker will steal your personal information and misuse it. So it's necessary to make sure that you are careful when clicking on links, and we'll talk about how to stay safe a bit later on. The second danger we should be careful of is malware. Malware is a type of software that is designed to harm your computer. So remember, software is a set of instructions on how the computer should work. But malware is a malicious type of software. So it's corrupt instructions that can infect your computer, and malware can infect your computer and cause your computer to delete files, or it can end up taking over your computer. So it's important to just be careful to see that you don't expose your computer to malware. And we'll talk about how to stay careful a bit later on. So once malware is infected on your computer, it can steal your personal information, it can damage your files, and as mentioned before, it can even take control of your computer. The third online danger we need to be careful of is identity theft. Identity theft is a crime where someone steals your information, your personal information, and uses it to commit fraud. So they can open credit cards in your name or take out loans or even use your identity to commit crimes. So that's something that you wouldn't want to happen to you. So let's talk about how to protect ourselves against these dangers. And the first thing that we need to do is make sure that we have a good password. We need to have a good password. And I have a question for you. How long would you think it would take to crack an 8 character complex password? So an 8 character complex password is a password that has 8 characters and it's complex, meaning it's got uppercase letters, lowercase letters, it's got numbers, and it's got symbols. So it's a complex password. How long do you think a hacker can take to crack this password? Okay, I have a B. 24 hours, 39 minutes, 3 days, or 24 years? What do you guys? I have a B. Mel says A. Sarah says A. Yes, I got another A and a. Oh, Sarah changed it to B. Awesome. The answer is B. It takes 39 minutes to crack an 8 character complex password. Can you imagine? But one thing you should know is that short passwords are easy to crack. But once we add on more characters to a password, it takes so much longer to crack. A 12-character password using only uppercase and lowercase letters would take 24 years to crack. Can you imagine that? Just the difference of those 4 characters can take a hacker from 39 minutes to 24 years to crack your password. So it's important to have a long password. So a good password is a password that is long, unique, and memorable. And I put memorable in because it's so easy to forget passwords. I forget passwords all the time. So it's good to make sure that your password is long, unique, and memorable. So, more information about passwords. So, tips on how to stay safe online. We'll talk again about password. We need to use a strong password. So, a strong password is long, we've mentioned that, and it includes a mix of uppercase letters, lowercase letters, numbers, and symbols. So, it's important to use different passwords for different accounts. I'll repeat that. It's important to use different passwords for different accounts. The temptation is to use the same password for all your accounts, just so that you don't forget it. But it's dangerous because once a person gets a hold of one password, then they have access to everything else, all your other accounts. So use different passwords for different accounts. Another thing to remember is not to include any personal information in your password. So, your date of birth, for example, your name, your first name, your last name, your kids' names, your wedding anniversary, any personal information should not be included in your passwords because that's what hackers start with when they try and crack your password. So, don't include any personal information in your password. And most importantly, don't share your password with anyone. Don't share your password with anyone. Keep your password private. Okay, enough about passwords. The next thing to remember is to be careful about what information you share online. So don't share information, personal information, such as your address, your phone number, or your social security number with people that you don't know or with social media. So be careful about what you share on social media and your personal information online. Number 3 is helpful when it comes to phishing. It says don't click on links from unknown senders. Don't click on links from unknown senders. So if you get an email and it's got a link, but you don't recognize the sender, or it just seems fishy or suspicious, just don't click on any links because they could lead to malware or phishing websites. And number 4, keep your software up to date. When you get a software update, it's important to just update your software immediately because these updates include security patches that can help protect your computer from viruses and other malware or threats. So remember those 4 tips. Use a strong password. Be careful about what information you share online. Don't click on links from unknown senders and keep your software up to date. Great. So we've gone through 4 sections on this webinar. The first is understanding computer hardware. Now we know what hardware is. It's the part of the computer that we can see and touch, and we know the different components of hardware that affect the performance of your computer. Number two, understanding computer software. We know now that software are the instructions that tell the computer what to do and how to process the information that it needs to process. And we've also talked about the internet, how it works, how all the computers are connected by cables, and how they share information. And we've discussed how to stay safe online and avoid online risks like phishing, malware, and identity. So now I will open it up to the Q&A session. If you have any questions, please type them in the chat. You can just type your question in the chat and I'll do my best to answer the question. But I'll take this opportunity to um, show you our brand new website, our newly redesigned website. I hope you can see my screen. So this is our beautiful website. It's newly redesigned. And the goal when redesigning this website is that we wanted to make sure you find what you're looking for within 1 to 3 clicks. So I think we've done a good job in achieving that. Today's webinar was based on a course that we offer, and this course is called Computer Basics. And you'll find more information about any courses if you go to the courses section of our website. So to find info about this course, you go down to Windows.
Oh, sorry, Gloria, we're still seeing your presentation there.
Oh, okay. Let me stop share and share again. Oh, awesome. Okay. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, sorry about that.
No, no problem. It's my mistake. Okay, so I'll start again. This is our beautiful redesigned website. And the goal when designing this website was that you find what you're looking for within 1 to 3 clicks. And today's webinar was based on information that was taken from a course called Computer Basics. And if you want to find any information on our courses, you go to the courses section. And to find info about this Computer Basics course, you go to the Windows section and scroll just down below, and you'll find the first course offered there is the Computer Basics course. We actually have a class running on September the 8th. So in a couple of weeks from now, we'll have a class on Computer Basics. If you'd like more information about other applications, if you'd like to take a basics course on other applications, we offer them too. So say you'd like to know more about Microsoft Word or Microsoft Excel, all you need to do is come to our courses section, then choose the program you'd like to know more about. So say, for example, Microsoft Word, and then you'll see all the courses we offer under Microsoft Word. So we offer a whole range. We start from basics right up to the advanced users. So we offer all these courses. And if you'd like to see our entire course catalog, go back to courses, and on the far right, you'll see a big red button that says See Course Catalog. And you will be able to see all the courses that we offer. And we offer a lot of courses. So all these are the different sections of the different courses that we offer. So we don't only offer courses, we also have a lot of free resources. So if you go to our free resources page, you'll see we do webinars like this one. We also have a great podcast, a leadership podcast, and a great blog. So you can feel free to access these resources. They are free for anyone who visits our website. There is a great webinar coming up next month, which I'm looking forward to. It's called Custom Data Visualizations in Excel, Impress for Success. It's going to be on September the 14th, 2023, so about a month from now. And it will be presented by the lovely Christine Irons. So if you do any presentation work or anything to do with charts in Excel, you won't want to miss this webinar. Okay, so back to the question and answer. Okay, I have a question. The first question is, how can I make sure that a computer doesn't get infected by viruses from flash drives? That is a brilliant question. We use flash drives a lot. Everybody uses a flash, and it's so easy to get your computer infected by a flash drive. They are notorious for infecting different computers. So when you um, before you use a flash drive, when you plug it into your computer, you can scan it before you use it. And I'll just quickly show you how to do that. So you plug it into your USB port. And if you have a Windows computer like mine, share, let me just share everything. If you have a Windows computer like mine, give me a moment. When you plug in your flash drive into your computer, you should see it appearing here on the list of different drives that you have. Once it appears here on devices and drives, right-click on the flash drive and then scan with Microsoft Defender. So you can scan the flash drive before you use it. This is before you even open it to see what files or folders are in it. You can scan it, it won't take too long. And once it's scanned and it's safe to use, then you can go ahead and use it. But it's imperative to scan every flash drive that comes into contact with your computer. As long as it's been plugged in somewhere or it's been used by somebody else on their computer, it's important to make sure you scan your flash drive before you use it, even if it's your flash drive. Once it's exposed to somebody else's computer, you should scan it before you use it again on your computer. Excellent question. Are there any other questions? Okay, I have one more question. Does my computer come with an antivirus? If it does, is it adequate or can I get stronger protection against malware? That's also a great question. Most computers, well, all computers come with a standard antivirus software. For Windows computers, you have Windows Defender, and that should be enough to keep your computer protected. But if you'd like extra protection, so if you think that your computer could be at risk for could be at risk for attack, or you use a lot of flash drives, you could get added protection. So there's some software, antivirus software that's sold online for stronger protection, more added protection, and you can use both the one that comes with the computer and extra protection if you need it. Okay. Are there any more questions? No, if there aren't any more questions, I'd like to say thank you for coming to this webinar and learning about computer basics, and I hope to see you next time. Thank you.
Thanks everyone for joining. Keep an eye on your email because I will be sending the link and handout tomorrow, and I'm just going to end the meeting room here. Thanks.
Thanks, Mel.